A great city is more than just a pretty skyline. Take Pittsburgh. The amazing view of the Three Rivers isn't what makes this place special. The people are. The lives of those who've lived here over the years form a picture of a city that's unlike any other. The stories of Pittsburghers are the story of Pittsburgh. August Wilson, one of America's great playwrights. He devoted years to telling stories that showed the everyday life and beauty of the Hill District's Black community through each decade of the 20th century. Martha Graham was born on the North Side in 1894. Over the next 100 years, she invented modern dance, coming up with a whole new way for dancers to move their bodies. In 1976, President Ford honored her with the Medal of Freedom. Andy Warhol became an icon of the New York art world. But Pittsburgh is where he grew up and studied before he found fame making pop art out of things like Campbell's soup, Hollywood stars, and Heinz ketchup. That's another Pittsburgh life, Henry Heinz, who founded the H.J. Heinz Company in 1869. His tomato ketchup would become America's favorite condiment, and his fortune would help shape Pittsburgh's landscape. Earl Heinz was only 11 years old when he started playing the organ in his family's church in Duquesne. By 25, he was one of the greatest jazz pianists and band leaders of all time, broadcasting live weekly to homes across the nation. Heinz wasn't the only Pittsburgh native to chart the course of American jazz. Billy Strayhorn wrote the classic songs Duke Ellington made famous. Duke called him my right arm, left arm, and all the eyes in the back of my head. Gene Kelly, Pitt's most famous graduate, danced his way from Oakland to Broadway and on to Hollywood. His footwork, charisma, and athletic choreography brought musical theater to new life on the movie screens of the 1950s. Around the same time, Arnold Palmer was turning golf from a rich man's pastime into a popular sport on TV. He swung big, looked great, and came from working-class Pennsylvania. In 1962, Sports Illustrated said he might be the greatest golfer ever. Meanwhile, one of baseball's greatest was playing with the Pirates. Roberto Clemente took Pittsburgh to the World Series twice, and he inspired millions with his selfless charity work. Today, Pittsburghers walk to PNC Park over the Roberto Clemente Bridge. A neighboring bridge is named for one of the area's great scientists. In the 1950s, Rachel Carson documented the harm being caused by too many synthetic pesticides. Her 1962 book, Silent Spring, launched the modern environmental movement. Jonas Salk's research mission was more immediate: to find a vaccine for polio, which killed thousands each year and left even more paralyzed. His success in 1955 meant that whole generations of American children would no longer need to fear this deadly disease. Fred Rogers set out on a lifelong quest to use television to help children understand their own emotions. From the WQED studios, he broadcast Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to the world, and the kindness he shared from the land of make-believe still lives on today. So does the work of George Romero, who got his start making short films for Mr. Rogers, and then found a very different audience with his horror movie, Night of the Living Dead. The very idea of a zombie apocalypse wasn't a thing until Romero filmed one in the Monroeville Mall. Elizabeth Jane Cochran, better known by her pen name, Nellie Bly, chased real-life dangers as a journalist for the old Pittsburgh Dispatch. She investigated horrifying factories and mental asylums, and in 1889, she actually made Jules Verne's fictional Around the World in 80 Days trip in only 72 days. But no Pittsburgher has ever traveled farther or faster than NASA astronaut James Irwin. As the pilot of Apollo 15's lunar module, in 1971, he set foot on the surface of the moon, one of only 12 people to do so in the history of planet Earth. These life stories made history. Every day, history is made by all the lives around us. Celebrate and share the memories of your community at Legacy.com, where life stories live on.